If you want to make a donation to Reverend, go in the bathroom and take you a good, long, hard shit and wipe your funky ass and put that stinky toilet paper in their envelope. Then tell church pimp Reverend to smell it. You know why I told you to do that? Because he's full of shit. Now let me drop something on you. I did some poetry and set the church on fire during Black History Month. Old School put a bug in my ear. He whispered, "Jones, that was excellent, but this is not gonna let you get up there no more. You was too damn good. He's a player hater." I started walking towards the pulpit. A bright light blinded me for a second. My eyes lost focus. Then I realized it was nothing but a big, shiny, bald-head nigga. It was player-hating Reverend. His head looked like a huge spotlight. It looked like a bowling ball, but it was shaped like a thick watermelon. His head was huge. It looked like he was wearing a helmet. I'm telling you, I swear to God, he looked just like an animated cartoon walking backwards with a bucket on his head. He was the most peculiar looking nigga I ever saw in my life. I was trying hard not to laugh, although I was smiling. I looked at this Humpty Dumpty bubblehead looking motherfucker. He reminded me of Tiny Tim. He was wearing a cheap suit that was too little. It was busting loose from the seams. I asked him, "Bruh, I want to recite a poem for the church on Mother's Day." He snapped at me. "Who do you think you are, coming in here trying to take over? You are trying to outshine everyone in here. I'm not going to never let you get up here again." Old School was right. I thought, player haters in the church. Old School eyes were anticipating my every move. He knew me very well. I had pistol whipped a couple of niggas in the past. I knew this wasn't God's house. God's house is the world and the universe. God wasn't nowhere in this motherfucker. God's name was nowhere on the deed. This brick and mortar belonged to the church pimps. I was standing on private property. If I turned gangster, I would catch a case. And that's what they wanted me to do, to play the part of a fool. But instead, I played it cool. Besides, I graduated from pimp school. It's all the same, nothing but a game that profits off the lame. Walking off the stage, I felt like a lonesome cowboy riding off into the sunset for the last time. I was wearing a pair of sky blue alligator shoes, matched it with a sky blue double-breasted tailor-made Vine that was right on time. Old School greeted me with a smile. He said, "Jones, you got style." Potato head Reverend was making the church announcements. He screamed in the mic, "My wife just turned 50, but looks 25. His wife was so homely and ugly, she hurt my eyes. She looked sad all the time. That bitch looked just like an old wrinkled up dick. Somebody needs to lock her ugly ass up in a doghouse. I'm not trying to be mean, but they should never let her out except on Halloween." I knew his no good, rotten ass daddy too, Reverend. He was a church pimp and a trick ass nigga. Check out what I say. This is what went down back in the day. Standing on the corner, hat cocked ace deuce, pocket full of cash, talking trash. Got the flash. Rolling through ghetto streets with that pink Cadillac. My pockets was fat, cause I had it going on like that. I was #1 on the fast track. If you was a ghetto star, the spot to be was the Clark Bar, located on Burnett Avenue. You could get anything you wanted, from drugs, pussy, guns, jewelry, and even an ass whooping. The bar was so crazy that the police were scared to come in there. Every now and then, they would find a dead body behind the back of the Clark Bar. Back in those days, all I did was dress, rest, and progress. sleep, eat, and run the streets. All of a sudden, the door swung open. Everybody screamed, "Player, player!" He was so black, he looked like a fly in a glass of buttermilk. He wore tailor-made suits made of silk. He was cool. He was all right. Everyone called him Midnight. He drove a caddy that was white on white in white. His game was tight. His reputation was out of sight. And his swag was dynamite. He set the bar up and held the drink high in the air like he didn't care. His voice echoed throughout the bar like a shooting star. He shouted, "All he wants is his ties. He don't give a fuck if you live or die. He only takes, he will never give. He's the coldest motherfucker that ever lived. He will use you if you're a sucker or a simp. He's got many names, but I call him the church pimp." That was the first time in my life I ever heard the word church pimp. It stayed with me because it was raw, but it was real. Two niggas was arguing over money. I made my exit. I didn't want to be no surprise because bullets ain't got no eyes. I stepped outside and gave Jack Frost and Bill Caffey 5 on the black hand side. I noticed his caddy, Reverend. He bought so much pussy from me, I gave him a discount. He was crazy about this hoe I knocked called Candy. She was a brick house. She was tall and had a fat ass, small waist, and big breasts. She would hypnotize guys with her bright green eyes. She told me all he wanted to do was eat her ass. She said, she confessed to me, I can't make this up, that he ate her ass out so good, she stopped buying toilet paper. He always parked his car around the corner, but all the players and hoes would see him. They would whisper, "Here comes the shit eater looking for somebody's ass he can eat." His daddy was a nasty, dysfunctional, filthy animal. I knew his mama too. Her name was but in the streets they called her Popcorn because she could suck any man's dick so good she would make him pop in 10 seconds. She was crazy about me. She would flirt with me and make me laugh. She was starving to death for some of this 10 and a half. Your mama wasn't shit, your daddy wasn't shit, and you ain't shit. The church pimp is a rotten son of a bitch. He's also a master at manipulating the masses with beautiful words, words like magic that deceive the naive. When people feel hurt, lost, nowhere to turn, down and out, and are at their lowest, that's when the church pimp strikes like a deadly poisonous snake, using words of comfort that not only convince, but it controls one's mind through manipulation. The serpent tongue of the church pimp speaks sweetly, telling the down and out person exactly what they need to hear. When the serpent tongue speaks, he is very articulate. The wicked church pimp knows by expressing his words with eloquence, the masses believe what he says is right, more so than one who speaks the truth. The real strength is not being recognized for following the crowd, but for being true to who you are. I strongly believe the best church to join is a small church. Big churches are ran like corporations. You need an appointment to speak to the pastor who dictates to you what they want instead of what you want. Baptist church motto is, "We are a tithing church." The more tithes they receive, the bigger the church pimp's salary becomes. Church pimps in big churches dominate their congregation. They are dictators. How dare you speak up or come up with a great idea without my permission? They expect you to bow and become their slave. They have the power and you must obey. This church is the only $1 million church I know that doesn't have a kitchen. Who in their right mind builds $1 million church and doesn't include a kitchen. It's because they don't want to feed their slaves. They just take their money. They have no compassion. Remember, you are a slave. You must know your place. It's all about control. Church pimps are doing away with tradition like the repast. They are telling their congregation it's too expensive. But it's not too expensive to buy a brand new Mercedes-Benz, but it's too expensive to give a loved one or a family member a repast. Really? The church pimps has a new game in town, and it's just like them, rotten and low down. As hard as times are today, they want you to give them 10% of your pay? No way. They have convinced the suckers to start donating $10 if they can't afford any more and work their way up to their goal. It is a very slick way of convincing the congregation to start paying tithes. Just think about it. The church pimps would be getting over like a fat rat in a cheese factory. If a member of the church has been paying tithes for 30 years and ends up broke in a nursing home, the family would have to pay the church pimp $1,000 to have a funeral. This $1,000 doesn't include flowers, food, or a casket. It goes solely towards the church pimp for merely speaking at the funeral. And people wonder why I wrote the book, Church Pimps. Church pimps hate strong-minded, gifted individuals who think for themselves. They love weak-minded, nerdy, docile people they can control and manipulate like puppets. That way, they can continue to brainwash them by putting bullshit in their head like this. Church pimps always say this when they want some money. How can a man rob God, yet you have robbed me? I have always thought, if God is the most powerful supreme being in the world and the universe, how can you rob God? And what does God need with some money? Everything man creates is dead. It has no life. Cars, clothes, jewelry, technology, and houses. Everything God creates has life. It can live. People, animals, insects, plants, trees, and gardens. I have came up with the conclusion. Some people you can help, and some people you can't. They are destined to be used and abused. They are lost sheep. It reminds me of one of my favorite Bible verses, and it goes like this. Corinthians chapter 13, verse 17. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. Grandpa lied. Think about it.